Right.
Oh, that I hated. Oh, that I hated with passion and would like to see dead.
Right.
Like, I am not a cruel person, but there was a time that if you'd gotten these certain people and brought their dead bodies to me, I would have went, no big loss. Now, that's on me. That's not a good thing, but I mention it because there have been people I don't like. But if these people had been the mother of my children, I still wouldn't like them. But I would never bleed that into the kids.
And see, I think that's where I feel like, you know, and I think overwhelmingly most good parents are like that. Even if it is murder for you, you put your personal feelings aside and you do what's best for your children, and we try to all be like that. But
well, and see, again, I call this episode The Unthinkable because let's talk about how he killed him, okay? He pulls off to the side of the road, tells him he's got a big surprise for him. He blindfolds them. He takes them into the woods. He lays them face down on towels he had put there previously.
Yeah.
He pulls out 2 handguns, also wrapped in towels, and simultaneously shoots them in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And at that point, he buries them. And for me, there are so many chances in there for him to stop.
right,
For him to just not.
yeah,
When you're going there earlier that day with towels
yeah,
to lay on the ground that you're going to put your children on.
yeah. Yeah.
There are so many reasons he should have not done that,
Yeah.
but, you know, people are cruel, and people just...
Blindfolds in your car that you know you're going to wrap around your children's faces to march them in the woods to lay them on those towels.
Yeah.
There are so many steps here where he could have just taken a step forward and said, you know what, this is crazy. I'm going to get help.
Yep. And
Unfortunately,
lived in this area all of that time. There at that time were no less than 4 hospitals between where he had been in Trenton and probably 6 hospitals between Trenton and Independence. There's no reason that he couldn't have stopped at any of those and said, help me, and no, he wouldn't have gotten help. So, again, please, you know, that's where this comes from. There's no excuse. There's no making it better. Obviously, this has been a long time ago, but if we can remind people that pulling an innocent into this in any capability is never, ever, ever the answer to make anything better.
unfortunately, I am not seeing this, so I'm not making much of emotion, but it is very difficult, and I'm sure it was very difficult for the mother after the deaths.
Oh, gosh.
And I cannot think it's a good idea to call this the unthinkable, because a lot of people are going to be like, wow, that is
I can't imagine
unthinkable.
hating someone so much that I would hurt my own children to hurt them.
That took a couple years to make, and even if it didn't take that many years, why would you look at their faces and say, yes, I'm going to kill you to get revenge on your mother?
But see, he never told them that. I think if he had, he wouldn't have done it.
Just empty threats at that point.
It's not reading. It doesn't make sense.
And here's another part to me that is unthinkable, but for a different reason. After he was caught, okay, and he was caught early on. He was caught years before the children were recovered, obviously.
Yeah.
Because they were able to convict him of kidnapping the children. And so he was sitting in jail most of that time.
Yep.
And if they just got on it a little bit before that, and when...
No. He took those babies and he killed them right after he picked them up.
Yeah. They
Oh.
So, yeah, he had it planned out, which is, again, why I call this the unthinkable, because I cannot see where in all of those steps he didn't at one point go, what am I doing? And stop.
I'm a psychopath. If this sounds good to anyone, like, for future reference, don't kill your children. Don't even let your friends... Don't keep your children away from people you know are bad.
We don't always have that ability, but, we have to keep... All we can do is reach out and do absolutely everything that we can to try to get help for ourselves, for others.
Right.
And Tina, who we'll talk about more, especially come the aftermath, is super strong. But one of the things that strikes me, that struck me about this, is that she had a restraining order against him to keep away from her.
Right.
She never thought he would hurt his children. He used to walk Bossy, their bulldog, and the kids to Fairmont Elementary every day. And he walked them to school. Like I used to walk you and Caitlin to school in California. Because we lived close enough to walk.
Yeah.
I miss that a lot, by the way. I had fun with you guys.
Until the car tried to hit us.
Well, I don't have nice things to say about that driver, but anyway. The point is that she did not want to interfere with his custody of the children, of his access. Never thought. And to be wrong about something like that, I don't know that I could live through it. I don't know that I could live through it. I would see myself as at fault every day.
Yeah.
So good on you, Tina. Really, I'm proud of you.
Impressed. Is better.
I think it's very impressive that she can go through that without, like, stressing out or calling yourself out, just having a very big moment of depression and just everything under the sun. I'm surprised she can take that.
Right.
Because if I had children and my husband were to kill them, I'd definitely be in a state of depression and just everything that you could possibly think of that was bad.
Exactly. And you know what? Let's take a minute for a word from our sponsors.
Yeah.
I want to think through some of this I'm about to say. So let's take a moment for a word from our sponsors. Well, that wasn't too bad.
Okay. Yep. I feel sponsored, maybe a little calmer. So that's never a bad thing.
All right. So
We should try to boxing breathing method.
for the 3 years that this guy was telling his wife that the children were alternately hidden away with friends and were just fine, or that she would never see them alive again, this was in the news. This was in the news almost nightly, at least, especially around here.
Yeah.
In that they would go and they would interrogate him, and he would tell them, I am not giving her my children. They are someplace safe, and they will not suffer abuse from her. And you're dealing with someone who has a lifetime enjoyment of hunting and of guns.
Right.
So, and I just, again, the more I think about it, the more I can't identify with it.
Yeah.
Take away my D&D stuff, take away everything that makes me me, and then still, if your mom had done all that, and the only way to hurt her was to hurt your kids, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Honestly, yeah.
So,
again, the title is very telling. It just is unthinkable.
Now, talk a little bit about Tina here. In addition to her not wanting to keep him away from the kids, she refused to let the court charge him with the death, or put the death penalty in place. She did not want him to get the death penalty. She made it very clear that her children would not have wanted that.
I can see that in a way.
And to make matters more interesting, she has since gone and seen him and forgiven him.
That one would be hard.
I would never forgive him.
And see, that's the thing. You're supposed to forgive people, like it's in the Bible that you're supposed to forgive people when they do these sorts of things. Man, I don't know how she found the strength.
That one would be hard for me.
It would be impossible for me. But again,
I forgive you, and I'm glad that you're still alive and running on this, but you're never coming back into my life again. That's what I'd say.
Oh, I don't think she went there to and when you get out, there'll be a place for you. I don't think she went there for that. I think she went there, you're forgiven. That being said, we're done.
I hope you rot in here and no good comes to you.
I hope you get karma.
And you have no peace in your life. I
and that is one thing that since then, he has occasionally spoken out and said things like, I don't know what sort of excuse I can offer. Can you tell me an excuse that anyone would accept for this?
There isn't one.
Which, yeah, but why didn't you think about that when you were laying towels on the ground to put your children on?
I'd think about their faces and be like, know what? No.
This is such a rough episode to me because I have such anxiety. Like, I have to go, before I can go to bed and go to sleep and sleep peacefully, I have to go and peek in at the kids.
Yep.
Even Allie, the 20-year-old, I have to look at her and make sure she's alive.
And breathing. Okay, and safe in bed, and yeah.
I have to check on the baby, I have to check on my Krysta, I have to check on Kate. My anxiety is through the roof. So this one's rough. I can't.
And I'm with you on that. I just feel like I think part of the draw on true crime is that we want to know where these stories go. After that gavel falls. After we know that the monster has been put away in the box, we want to know where these stories go and where they end up.